to do it. All right, so thank y'all again for joining. We're going to be talking to Miss Jennifer Loren and see what's going on. Why did she buy my book and everything? So Jen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you said a little bit of it already, but I'm a mom. I do work full time also. I am also I do Beachbody. I'm an artist. I'm an up and coming writer as well. I also spend a lot of time, being active with my church and, things like that, because that's a huge part of my life. I am originally from Philadelphia, and I finally made it down here to Georgia, getting closer to Florida though. So hopefully my final destination will be Florida. And that's a little bit about me. I mean, I have two little girls. My oldest is 4. The other one is 1.5. She'll be 2 in September. They keep me busy with all their personalities and attitudes and all the animation with them. So that's the exciting part of my life is, watching my kids grow up and, really seeing how they're developing with their personalities. It's intriguing to me.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I understand that. So she has girls, I have boys, and yet you still bought Before the Sun Rises. Tell me why you bought this book.
Well,
besides the fact that you're my friend.
Besides the fact that you're my friend. But no, I'm one of those people that I have to be drawn to a specific thing in order for me to read it. So I think the biggest thing was that the title drew me in, mainly because of the teaching that I'm receiving at my church. Like, we're being taught that we're sons of God. So I was like, oh, before the sun rises. So I'm a son. What am I supposed to do before I wake up? So that was the first thing that kind of pulled me in. But when I started reading it, and especially, when I started reading the reviews and stuff like that, like I was like, okay, so this is something that I can utilize to help my chaotic life. And just a little bit more background on me. Like, I have not been an organized person. I was terrible at planning. I was terrible at being on time. And it was really hard for me. Like, I was like flying by the seat of my pants, especially, after having my first child. And then 2 years later, I have another one. So I'm like, oh my God, I have 2 toddlers. What am I going to do? Right. Now I have 2 toddlers. So, going through the book, it made me even more intrigued. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep reading until I get to the end, so I can see how can I really put my life in perspective and put things in order and also take care of myself at the same time.
Okay. So let's start with the very beginning part. So if you all haven't gotten your book, the link is right there. You can get a copy of Before the Sun Rises on Amazon. It's only like $14.97 and it gets shipped out pretty quickly. So, and the book is, in my opinion, an easy read. What about you, Jennifer? Is it an easy read?
Yeah, it's an easy read. It's not, and I can't deal with super complicated books. I like the fact that it gets right to the point, and at the same time, like, you're keeping it real. You don't have fluffed up stories. You're not trying to portray that, being an entrepreneur and being a mom is this fairy tale perfect life. Where, I mean, especially when you talk about interruptions, like when you have kids, everything gets interrupted. I don't care how much you plan, something is going to happen. It's like Murphy's Law. Whatever can happen will happen.
Will happen. Exactly. All right. So the very first section of the book is before your son, or in your case, your daughter's rise. So when you read that part of the book, what to do before your daughters rose, you know, before they woke up, how did that shape things differently? Like, tell us what it was like before, and then you read the book and what happened.
Well, my first thought was, oh my God, I have to get up early. I have to get up early. I'm not a morning person. I've never been a morning person.
Let me just pause you right there. If you do not have the book, everybody, the very first line on the back of the book says, I am not a morning person, but I am someone, and I am someone who would much rather sleep in. However, as a woman of many roles, a wife, a mom, a coach, and a serial entrepreneur, I don't have that luxury. So if you read that line, you know that I am not a morning person either, but my goals outweigh what I want to do, who I think I am. So go ahead, Jen.
Right. And I agree, because if I could, I used to take jobs and schedules so I could sleep in. Like, okay, I don't have to work till 2:00. I can sleep in. But now that I have children, it's like, you're not sleeping past 8:00. Okay. So you're not going to be, huh?
You sleep till 8?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sleeping past 8 if I can sleep past 8. But I mean, I have a prayer line. I have to be on at 7. So
okay.
I'm it's like, and then with the schedule changes with my job, I have to also be able to adjust with that. So once my kids get home, it's like, I'm not doing anything else, because they're awake and they're active, they're hyper. So it's best for me to get everything that I need to get done early. That way everything's done. I can go throughout my day and work. And when I come home, when they, you know, when it's time for me to pick them up and they come home, like, I don't have a pile full of things that I still haven't had done.
Okay. That's good. So it gives you some homework in the book. It has you write out some of the sacrifices that you made when you became a mom. You want to share some of those sacrifices with us?
Yes. And I have to tell you, they changed a little bit, because like I read, this is like my 3rd time reading it. So like every time I read it, the sacrifices changed a little bit. So the first time I read it, I think I had just had my youngest daughter, Maya. And it's like, you know, write out some of the sacrifices. So some of the sacrifices were, and at that time I was kind of struggling. So it's like, okay, am I going to buy lunch, or I'm going to buy diapers? Am I going to give up my free time? I have to give up my free time that I should be painting or doing something for myself, or I could be doing something for myself, but I sacrifice that time so I can spend time with my kids. Or, you know, another financial sacrifice is like, you know, are we buying whites, or are we buying shoes? You know, like, what are we getting? Another sacrifice is like, you know, I have friends, they invite me out all the time. I'm like, well, I don't need to go out anywhere, because, you know, I won't go out to eat because I have food at home. You know, I don't need to go anywhere, because that's taking money from, you know, doing what I need to do for the kids, to pay bills. I sacrifice a lot of myself. You know, sometimes I don't get as much sleep as I would like, because someone wakes up at 4 a.m. and they don't want to go back to sleep, or someone wants to stay up late and have all night party and I don't get enough sleep.
Yeah.
So, you know, and another one of the big sacrifices that I had was, you know, as a single mom, it's kind of hard to try and date someone when you can't really, you don't have money for babysitters and stuff like that. You know, my family helps, but, you know, I don't want to overload them, you know, with, okay, I have someone to watch them when I'm working. But, you know, I sacrifice my personal life, my social life. And I probably shouldn't do this, but I've even, you know, had to take my kids on dates with me. Because
I mean, it's a total package. So, I mean,
this is everything. This
if
is
it
all
goes that far, if it goes further, they gonna get them girls. So,
right. Right. So those are just a few, you know, but
your sacrifices changed after you read the book. So, when you read it again, what became your new sacrifices?
I think it was really the going out. Even though I should have adult time, you know, having adult conversation, because really a lot of my conversation, if it's not work related, it's Baby Shark. It's Frozen, singing Frozen, or it's something, you know, church related. You know, it's hard. It's difficult for me to find just regular conversation with an adult. Intelligent conversation with an adult.
Right.
You know, so I mean, there's plenty of opportunities that I could have gone out, you know, but I just didn't, you know. And sometimes even with taking them with me, it's a sacrifice too, because now it's a financial sacrifice. So now I'm putting out more money, because I'm not just paying for myself, I'm paying for both of my kids, for them to eat, which really is not them eating, they're sitting and playing in food, and then I'm just taking
Exactly.
so, well, we could have done that at home. So,
Standing on the table and screaming and poking the person behind us in the head, all those good things.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've sacrificed a lot. And I'm sure it's a little different as a single mom. You know, sometimes I can just tell my husband I'll be back and, you know, kind of go out and do things. But let's look at the next section. So you've made these sacrifices, you start reading a book, you are connecting with people, and it talks about before the sun, before the sun rises. So you stated that you were like, oh man, I got to get up early. Did you start getting up early? What changed? How's your schedule now? Tell us about it.
It's a lot smoother. I'm not going to say it's where I would like it to be, but it definitely is a lot smoother, especially like I have to gauge what time I have to get up based off of what time I have to be at work. So right now I'm working at 8 to 4:30 schedule, and then I kind of work backwards. So 8 a.m. I have to be logged in and start working. You know, 7:30 the kids need to be dropped off, which means they have to be ready by 7. And then I also have prayer line at 7, which means I have to be up at 6 in order for me to, you know, be awake, fully awake, so I can be engaged in the prayer line. And then I've added, you know, Beachbody. So I'm like, I have to get my workout in. So now, like, each time slot has something for me to do. So now that rolls me back to 4:30. So in order for me to get in, and, you know, another section you have in the book, it talks about like coming up with a daily routine, which I actually had none of. I was kind of like flying at the seat of my pants, like I said. And I noticed that I was like extremely stressed You know, I would rush around, nothing would be ready, and then I'm freaking out because now I'm late because I had to go look for stuff, or you know, I'm all over the place. So that just makes me stressed all day. So now that I get up earlier, in case I have an interruption, like sometimes Maya will wake up at 4:30, you know, and she'll be up till 6, you know, or she'll wake up at 6, or Lauren will wake up at 6. So now it's like, okay, I'm awake, they're awake, and I have something for them to do while I'm doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
And also, even with the interruptions, like trying not to have them interrupt too much of what I'm doing. Like I'm still going to get my meditation in, I'm still going to get my prayer time in, my, you know, I'm still going to get my workout in, you know, and it's like, what can I include them in?
Right.
In order for them to stay occupied and I can still accomplish what I need to accomplish.
Right.
You know, and I'll admit, like, slowfulness is something that I've struggled with for a long time, my entire life. So it was difficult for me to even think about getting up early. And but I just had to purpose it in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to say to myself, look, you're just gonna have to just suck it up and get up early, because trying to get it done after work it's just not gonna happen.
It's hard.
It's not gonna happen. Like, and then even after work, I have a ton of calls that I have to be on almost daily. So trying to get them eating and going to sleep. So, and then I noticed in the morning, when I have that routine, I'm more focused throughout the day.
Absolutely.
So instead of me, you know, being stressed out about, now I'm worried about, oh, what are they going to say because I was late today? You know, I'm worried about what's going to happen to me because I was late for work, or I was late dropping the kids off, you know, and then that puts more stress on me. So that, you know, just helps me to keep my stress level to a minimum,
Okay.
you know, and it's severely decreased. And I feel like I'm more productive also, because, you know, like you said, like you could tell your husband, like, hey, I'll be back. You know, I don't have anyone to say I'll be back to yet. So it's like, I have to get this done before they wake up, you know, and certain things just can't be done when there's a lot of commotion going on. Like, especially like when it comes to meditation, and when you're trying to really hear something from God, and you're really trying to be in his presence and, you know, soak up that glory, you need quiet. You need quiet, and you need to be still in order for him to speak, and for, you know, for you to be in his presence, there needs to be quiet and focus.
Okay. So you've become more productive, right?
Yes.
You feel like you have more balance in your life.
Yes, I do.
You've been planning better for your days.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm just going through the book, looking at some different parts to see if you took these things and lived them out. So when I wrote the book, when I started writing this book, it was taking forever. And I was like, I just want to get this book done. The problem was I hadn't completely lived it and figured it out and perfected it, so to speak. And it's always changing. It's always evolving. I have to change my plans often depending on what's going on. You know, this new pandemic that we're experiencing changed everything. I was supposed to have 2 kids going to school next week and I have none. So, you know, that changes things because I was expecting to have that one-on-one time with my youngest. And so I had to go back and reread my own book, and figure out, how do I adapt to these new changes. And so when it did begin to give me the slightest amount of stress, I had to remember what this was all for, which brings me to the end of the book. Before the sun, the capital SON, returns, before he rises, before he calls his church to rise. And I remember that everything that I do is for the glory of God. And so, and God makes no mistakes. And so our kids being home with us, some of us, we have to know that this is an opportunity for us to truly, pour into our children, show them how to adapt and how to, make things happen properly. So you've mentioned on several occasions that you're able to lean in more and hear from God, and so how can you say that, from the time that you started reading this book and making changes in your own life, really having that time, that quiet time with God because you got up earlier, what has changed to help you in the process of advancing the kingdom of God?
That's a good question. Well, I think one of the biggest things was, when I joined our praise team, because I wasn't really doing, I was supporting our church, but I wasn't really doing much. At least I didn't think so. But it really helped me to, and being on the praise team, that also is, something else that was added that I have to make time for. And because our leader is he's serious about worship, and engaging in worship and being a worship leader is you have to realize so many things happen in worship that doesn't occur with laying of hands. And when you're in worship, it's not just leading worship. You're not just up there just because you can sing or just because you're up there. You're opening, your job is to lead people in a place where God can deliver them. You're leading people into his presence. So when I added that to my life and utilizing this book, it's okay, this is something that's a priority. Time has to be made for it. And when leading worship has to become your life. It's a lifestyle. It's not something that you do just on Sunday or on Wednesday, whenever Bible study is. It's something that it has to be a lifestyle, and it's not something that can be faked.
Right.
So I believe that has helped me enhance the kingdom, because now I'm in a place where I have to be worshiping. It's something that I've become.
Absolutely. Okay.
And people get worship and praise confused when it's not the same thing. Worshiping in spirit and in truth is you've completely put out your mind, your laundry list of what you want God to do. And you're not just praising him for, the things that he's giving you and the things that you've received from him, or, you're praising him just because he did it that time for you. When you go into a place of worship, you're forgetting about yourself. You're putting yourself away, letting your flesh die, and you're just giving yourself wholeheartedly to God in worship. It's just him. It's about him and giving glory to him. And you're forgetting all the stuff that you need, all the stuff that you're trying to ask for, and you're searching for his heart, not his hand.
I love it.
It just, opened my mind and my spirit to another level of experiencing him.
Now, I don't give all credit to my book for this. Jennifer was already serving the Lord before she read my book. Jennifer was already, giving God love and spending time with him. The reason I brought that up is because I really believe that when we separate things and we make a schedule and we give God the time that is allotted specifically for him, and when we're able to have balance in our life and we know that God needs my time, and y'all haven't figured out how to mute my computer. So, but when we know that, God needs my time and he deserves my time before I give it to anyone else, you begin to shift things. And I truly believe that when I shifted my schedule and began to give God my first fruits of the day, that he set the plan so beautifully for the rest of the day. And it also helped me to deal with things in a different way. Because I'm telling you, the days I don't get up and read my word and pray, and then them kids get up 2 hours earlier than I expected, I'm like, it's still dark outside. Why are you awake? And they beat me to the punch. I used to be so angry. And even now, sometimes I have to take a step back and light my candles and smell my lavender and calm myself down.
Right.
Just give me 3 minutes, boys, to just sit down and relax and talk to God so he can help me to not snap on y'all. But I truly believe that when you take that time and set it aside to spend time with God first, that it helps you to just change the outcome of your whole day, change the trajectory of your whole day. And so a lot of what I learned in writing this book is how important it is to balance your spiritual life, your physical life, your mental life, balance every role. And so like, I've known Jen, you all, for quite some time, and I've watched her develop and mature into such an amazing woman just over the last, 5 years. How long I know you? About 5 years?
Oh, that's that long?
Well, I've known you since I was pregnant with Josiah. So yeah, he'll be
about 5 years.
Yeah. So I've known her 5 or 6 years, something like that. I know her enough that she drove all the way to Ohio and planned my baby shower for me. So, but I've watched her mature into the woman of God that she is. I've watched her mature into a more structured businesswoman. I've watched her tackle things over the years that once was something that gave her a lot of stress. And I've noticed that her stress level when we talk is not even where it used to be. And so I just, it's exciting when some of the people who are reading your book, because then you can actually talk to them and ask them what changed for you.
Right.
So I get to watch her and I get to ask her and I get to share with you all what changed in her life, and again, I'm not taking all credit, but I do believe that God placed us in each other's lives for a reason. I believe that my book was written to help her as well as some of you all. And I'm excited about what's to come. So one of the sections in the book was talking about the vision board. And this is the last question I want to ask you. Did you make you a vision board?
Yes, I did.
And how's it going?
I'm actually going to do another one. But the vision board that I did, because I wanted to focus more on myself, and mainly because I was trying to overcome how I felt about myself. Because we can wear all these hats, and as women, we wear all these hats, and we have, all of these titles and responsibilities, and we don't stop and think positively about ourselves. Even with our kids, it's like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do with them, or I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do at work. But I also have those feelings. It's like, okay, I didn't do enough, or I dropped the ball here. So I wanted to just start focusing on myself and how I felt about me. Mm-hmm. And once I started doing that, you know, keeping in my mind, like, okay, I need to have positive thoughts about me. It's great for other people to say it, but I have to believe it for myself. So when I did the vision board, you know, portion, I just focused on me, and the theme of it is you are enough. And I just, you know, picked a few things out of magazines, some things I wrote on my own. But it's mainly, and I'm looking over here because I have it over here. Um, but it's mainly, you know, it's about me and how I'm feeling about myself, or how I should feel about myself, and how God feels about me.
I think
So the three biggest things that, you know, are the biggest on my vision board is to de-stress. That's like the biggest thing on there. Um, you are valuable to God, and you are enough.
absolutely.
So those three things are like, even when I'm feeling, I have my times where I feel inadequate, you know, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I have those moments, and this helps me to not stay there, so I can keep moving forward, so I can keep telling myself, okay, I have all these other dreams, and I have all these other goals, and now I feel as though I have the confidence to do another vision board about something else. This is where I want to be in 5 years. This is where I want to be in 7 years, you know, and putting it all together. Because if I'm not confident within myself, and if I'm not feeling good about me, you know, I can put pictures on a poster board all I want to. But if I don't feel good about me, I'm not going to want to even look at anything else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to be like, okay, you know, that's something I want to do, but I don't feel like that I can do it. I don't have the confidence in myself that I can do it. So I just wanted to focus on me first, and building myself up. And I didn't want to be a person, because I didn't want to be that person that always relied on other people to tell me how I felt, or how, you know, how I should feel about myself. I shouldn't rely on other people to tell me, you know, that I'm beautiful, or I'm smart, or, you know, I can do this, you know, and don't give up. You know, I have to be able to have the strength to tell myself that,
Right. I
you
love
know.
that. So, you guys, in the book, we talk about the identity crisis, because a lot of us women, we do have an identity crisis. We identify as mom and wife and pastor and prophet and employee. And you can probably name, you know what, name some of your roles here. I want to hear what y'all roles are, because there are so many of them out here. Like, I think I just named most of mine. But I know we all wear many, many hats and have many, many roles, and we forget who we are. And so I do go through a part in the book where I help you get back to you. And I'm letting you know that it's not selfish to focus on you. A lot of people feel like it's selfish to focus on themselves. And so I teach you in the book how to take care of yourself, how important self-care truly is. Self-care is not selfish, it is important. You cannot take care of everybody else if you're not taking care of yourself first. You know, and I always think about the example when you're on an airplane, they tell you put your own mask on first. And when you think about that, you know, because as moms,
Right.
we want to put our kids' mask on. We want to save our babies. But they tell you specifically on the airplane, put your own mask on first, and then you can help the other people. And so I'm telling y'all today, put your own mask on first, okay? Put your mask on first, and then you can take care of everybody else. Make sure your breath is good. Make sure your body is good. Make sure your spirit is good. Because that way you're a whole person. You're whole. And then when you're giving out to other people, you're not giving them the broken parts of yourself. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm super excited. I really appreciate you for reading the book. I appreciate you for coming on here. We went a little bit over the time that I had prepared, but you were just giving all this goodness, and I was excited, and and it was really, really good. So I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Any last words?
Well, I would say, everybody should get this book. Okay. Even if it's the smallest thing that you need help with, like, it pretty much covers everything, especially the self-care part. Like, even if you're not a mom, you still need to take care of yourself. And it doesn't have to be something like, extravagant. It could be something as little as, taking an hour to watch your favorite movie, or taking an hour to read your favorite book, or like I like to do sometimes when my kids are asleep and I have a moment to myself, I like to watch hair videos. And I sit, and that's relaxing to me. I like to sit and watch hair videos. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be something huge. It could be something, that little weird, quirky thing that you like to do that nobody knows about. Go ahead and, that's your personal time, But that's all I had. And I thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Your show.
Yeah, I feel like it is kind of like a little show, right?
It is a show.
Well, I appreciate you. I just pray nothing but amazing things to continue to happen in your life.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for this next chapter in your life. I can't wait to see the next vision board that you create.
Greatness.
Yes. All right. Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night. All right. So everyone, just, thanks, Jen. Give Jen some love. Thank her for joining us. It was amazing to have her on. When I wrote this book, I didn't write it because I thought I was going to make millions. I wrote it because I felt like there were some people who needed it in their life. I felt like the Lord wanted me to write this book, and so that's exactly what I did. Thank you, Ms. Richards. I appreciate it. I did what I felt I was supposed to do, and I believe it's changing the lives that need to be changed. And so with that, if you don't have the book, I encourage you to get it. You can get it whether it's just to support me, or if you really want to see your own life change, you have that option as well. You can get the book on Amazon. I posted the link. It's pinned here. If you have any questions, if you go through this book and you feel like I don't understand this part, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. If you're struggling on something in the book in your own life and you just need some coaching through it, you are more than happy to work with me. I will be having a class coming up for moms who, we're looking at all these other moms and like, how the heck is she doing this? Well, I'm going to teach you how she's doing it so that you can be the one that people are looking at you and saying, how do I do it? Okay. When people ask me, how are you successful? I'm like, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of sweat and tears, probably some blood too, but I made it happen. And so I just want to say thank y'all so much for all the support that I've gotten over the years while I was writing the book, the people who watched my kids while I was writing the book, all the nights that my husband had to put the kids to bed because I was doing some night writing, everything. So thank you everybody who supported me in writing this book and in purchasing the book. I work from home, so this is what I do for a living. I share what's on my heart, what the Lord has placed in my heart, and I try to help you all to live your best lives before the sun rises. So if you're interested in my masterclass coming up and how to get your day productive before your kids rise, let me know, comment below, or you can inbox me. Be sure to share this live to your page. Let some other people hear how this book could change their lives. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you all soon. Peace. And I got to figure out how to hang up.